everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering the beloved Cartoon Network series, Generator Rex.
Now, since we've already covered the entire Ben 10 franchise last year, even the things we didn't care for, it's time we give a special spotlight to Man of Action's other incredible series. And it's time we're joined by Rascal Family member and my alpha son, Ben and Dudley!
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notifications on future podcasts and other pause videos.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us and subscribing and sharing our videos. It helps out our channel a lot.
Yes.
Too much. So, Generator Rex.
Yes.
You don't hear about this show anymore.
No. You hear about Ben 10 all the time, still, because they keep trying to reboot it, but Generator Rex kind of has been put to the wayside, unfortunately.
So why do you guys think that is happening?
Kind of hard to say. I feel like the only time the show has ever actually been referenced was when they kind of had their own crossover from that reboot episode. I've never seen it.
There's no reboot episodes. That doesn't exist. It's not canon. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then they have the audacity to say this is canon. What? So he reverted back to being 10 years old? That was an insult. When we said we wanted another crossover from Heroes United, we didn't say we wanted this where it just destroyed the entire show as a whole.
I'm delusional. It doesn't exist.
No, forget that.
With the worst version of Ben 10,000 in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
It's like everyone got pushed around in this show.
I remember Bennett's reaction.
He said, "Don't ever put me in here with this version."
No, that guy needs the doodle bob.
It's Doodle Ben.
Okay. Since some people listening may not know Generator Rex, we hope that most that are listening do. But in case they don't, it was an American animated sci-fi action adventure comedy drama superhero series created by our beloved Man of Action that aired on Cartoon Network. And it premiered in April of 2010 and ran for 3 years through January of 2023 with a total of 60 episodes plus 2 episodes that remained unaired on TV,
right,
as well as a crossover movie, the real crossover movie, Heroes United.
Right.
Yes, that's the one we talk about.
Yes, and that's still, to date, one of our favorite crossover specials ever. No matter the studio, animation, whatever, that's still one of our top favorite ever.
Definitely. It was the first thing I ever bought on iTunes.
Right! It was that cool! I remember everybody was just geeking out when they announced the crossover. People who love both shows were just really thrilled to have just have this come to life.
It was brilliant, and I miss that.
It was great.
Yes.
So how did you first learn about Generator Rex?
Well, one time they were promoting the series, and I thought, wow, this looks like a cool show to watch. And I was definitely not disappointed when I saw the very first episode.
Awesome.
Like the introduction to the main characters, and of course the main villain, Ben Clyde. He instantly became one of my top 10 favorites.
There you go, the twin
Yes,
action. Let us tell you all how we learned about Generator Rex. When it first came on a commercial, we both, Rascal and I, said, "Oh, we're not going to watch that. It's just a copy of Ben 10. And our Nana watched the entire series.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, "You should watch it. You should watch it. You should watch it." So our Nana was cool, watched the whole series. And then when we began watching the reruns, she's like, I told you you should have watched it.
Yeah.
And we were so embarrassed.
That's how we got into
That's
it.
how we got into Ben 10 from our Nana. And we got to watch it in full when at one point Netflix had all the Ben 10 series, Generator Rex, all the DC series. That's when we got to watch it in full, uninterrupted, together.
Right. Because you sure as they can't get it on DVD.
Yeah.
No.
Only the first 8 episodes, which
For
we do own, and it's unopened.
Yeah.
But that's all that was ever released.
And it's like, this show's been out for almost 20 years, and you still haven't given a full series release? I know it's not Ben 10, but come on.
That's just criminal. Everyone deserves to know about this show.
Yes.
Definitely. So it's so funny when you said Van Clyce. It's like, okay, here we go again. It's this deja vu.
Yes.
'Cause that's one of Rascal's favorite characters.
Yes.
Favorite villains, I should say.
Yes, favorite
Yeah.
villain, and big reason is his character theme. They have it on YouTube, and it sounds like this apocalyptic Army of Darkness type thing, and for some reason it just sounds really, really cool. Every time he comes on screen, they keep playing it.
His own absence, it looks like an apocalyptic wasteland.
Yes, so it fit perfectly. It just every time, that's one of the coolest villain themes ever. It didn't even need any lyrics.
And it looks like when you see his design, he was an inspiration for quite a few villains, including 9. Because when I first saw 9, I thought of Van Clyce.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I guess I never thought of that before.
Yeah, true. Even I was surprised when you pointed that out. I can see now what you're saying looking at both characters.
And quite a few more, but that's the main one that I can bring up now. But yeah, he influenced a lot of other villains.
Right.
But it was so funny when you first told me that. He has the best name!
Yes!
Like, but he's the villain, I know!
Hey, Rex has a good theme too,
Yeah.
but I just he's the coolest villain theme.
Oh yeah.
So, here's fun facts time, as Bennett says.
Okay.
Do you know what inspired Generator Rex?
I'm not really sure, honestly.
If you guys know, let us know in the comments.
Okay.
Generator Rex was inspired by M. Rex, short for Machina Rex, a comic book title published by Image Comics in the Philippines.
Oh.
It only had 2 issues, and the main characters were Rex, Agent 6, Knight, the Haha, who became Bobo Haha, and 3 characters that didn't make it to the series: Mia Moore, Simon Babbage, and Spiken.
Huh.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Was Rex still Spanish, like how he was in the show?
Yes. Well, no, Rex became Rex Salazar. Well, I guess you could say technically kind of. Because some Filipinos are part Latino.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how it was in the book.
Yeah, so I guess that makes
But
sense.
he became Rex Salazar in the series. And Agent 6 became Agent 6, who used swords instead of guns.
Oh, okay. That actually works better.
And then Knight became White Knight.
Oh.
Right.
And then Bobo, you saying the
Bobo
ha-ha.
ha-ha.
Yeah, I guess they need to pick something less embarrassing. So
Yeah.
I don't think you would be like taking it seriously. You hear something called the ha-ha and you just like, what?
So I thought that was fascinating, so we've got to share that. Okay, so let's get to the series itself. The episodes, the vibe of the series, the fun, the superhero-ness.
Yes.
Yes.
And a character that really looked different from any other character that was out there
Yes.
at the time.
And yes, and really seeing how he has all of his vehicles and transformations. He was like if you had a human Autobot.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
He had all sorts of weapons. He had vehicles. He had the giant stomping boot. He had swords. He had bikes. He had jetpacks. And you can imagine how many toys that actually sold.
And it still is perplexing why this series disappeared and why you don't see anything about
Dealing
it.
with a
Because,
problem
again,
of my
it was
own.
unlike the series.
Right.
And maybe possible maybe he wants to create characters.
Possible, yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah, because there's been nothing else except for the unmentionable second crossover. There hasn't been anything. And now that we see that, there's a scary part to me. Seeing that reboot do the crossover supposed to be the end of Ben 10, I kind of fear that it was a backdoor pilot to a Generator Rex reboot because they linked them together, and it's like
They just squashed away.
and like for Pete's sake, don't give us that. If this is what that reboot's gonna be like, you can keep it. I don't want to watch it. You're gonna ruin Ben's legacy. You're gonna ruin Ben's legacy. I need you to ruin Rex's legacy too, because you made him just like really unlikable for some reason.
It's like they made everything the total opposite of what it was. Oh,
yeah.
You like him? You won't now. Oh, he was smart. He's dumb now.
Why was
Bobo? You like him and want to protect him? Not now.
And he was
the monkey was the smart one. Oh, not anymore.
And now he was the guardian. Now Six was hunting him. They don't mention Van Clyce. They had Hex in his place. I don't even know what they were gonna do with the show.
Who knows? Maybe that matched the comic.
Maybe? Who knows? And
Maybe.
leave it to them to go pick something far out. Say, see, we picked something that's canon. You can't say anything about it. Yes, we can. I want the other one.
So you had an addition, of course, of Holiday and Noah.
Yes.
And what's the
so,
lady's name? Black Knight?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
okay.
Black Knight. You're right.
Oh yeah, Black Knight.
Yeah. And we had, 60 episodes of this, right? For 3 seasons
60, yeah.
and 1 original only crossover special.
One of the best movies ever on cartoon.
Yes.
Yes.
So, what were your favorite things about this series? What made Generator Rex a memorable standout that all these years later we're still talking about? This series has been gone for quite a while, and we're still talking about it. We're still in love with it. Still hoping they bring it back, sorta. Kind of not because of what has been happening with reboots.
Right, it's like, maybe not.
So, Bennett first.
I think what made me so interested in the show, other than the animation style itself, is mainly because the main character, Rex, and his unique ability. Some could say he's, as you said, like a human Autobot, or even kind of like Iron Man, but instead of relying on the technology that comes to him directly, he just builds it right out of his body. Like little machines just somehow come out of him and form these very cool weapons. And not to mention, they have the power to cure these people, these evos, back to their original selves.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really something you had never seen before in a show. And if you think about it, since Rex finished airing, a lot of people started using nanites in their series and movies. No one even knew what the heck nanites were until the show. Everyone started using nanites.
Including Big Hero 6.
Right, and microbots and microchips, and it all started because Generator Rex brought that concept to life, and now everybody wants to use nanites in a show for whatever reason they could be used for.
That's correct.
Even the MCU uses a lot of the nanotechnology for their characters, like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, or even Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's like, because remember people were saying they went from having bits and pieces to put on their outfits, now suddenly everyone's technology upgraded after Generator Rex, and now they don't have to touch anything. It just appears and disappears at will. Just think about it. It's like, okay, that kind of makes it a little less cool because now you just ripped off someone else's idea.
Very true. How about you?
So I'm actually kind of hoping that maybe they'll take a break from the nanotechnology for a while and maybe just stick to the classic suit up.
Yeah, because they're
never gonna happen.
Yeah, they're already overworking all their
right.
visual effects artists. They want to quit, so yeah, they need to dial back all these effects.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to turn this into a Marvel roast.
Oh no!
But it looks like at this point they are running everything into the ground.
Oh god!
Because before the overkill superhero movies were, just banking, and we were getting what we wanted.
Right.
And then suddenly we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 phase. And with each phase, the movies get weaker. The writing gets weaker.
Wait till you hear some of the ones they got coming out now.
And so I say that based on what has happened. It's unfortunate. I don't see that changing.
Yeah, and we
not with the current people in charge.
And we miss really unique shows like Rex, and it made sure to make it different from Ben 10 and make it different from any other superhero show or movie you had ever seen. And you really liked a lot of episode ideas where it wasn't just him having, learning to control these powers and trying to save everybody using the nanites. And he wasn't having a double life where he had to balance school and fight evils. He just fought evils. That was his job and his home and his school. Everything was in one place. So there was no...
Pretty much,
yeah, there was no secret identity, balancing life thing like Spider-Man. Everything was in one place. Everyone knew who he was. He was the city's hero. So there was a lot of different ideas to work with without having to rely on keeping identity secret so no one knows you're a superhero. They actually avoided all of that. So I think that's another reason for me why it's really unique, because they really opened the doors to a lot of great episode ideas.
That's true.
absolutely.
And I think within that framework, for me, I like the family dynamic that exists.
Yes.
I really, because
Oh, yeah.
Six, you know, he
He was
became
the dad.
Papa.
He was the
And
dad.
Hardy became Mama. And
Yeah.
they treated
Boba
him
was
like
the-
you. They gave him kind of like free reign, though. They tried to rope him in,
Mhm.
but I never kept saying, he doesn't listen to anybody. What you did. He's going to do the opposite of what you tell him.
Yeah.
And then they would go to help save him or rescue him or try to teach him. And he knew, you know, what happened to his parents.
Yes.
And they were looking for Cesar. But he still had that family dynamic there, even with Bobo Haha,
Right.
who was like
Yeah.
the
I guess
eighth
the
brother.
I guess so, little brother.
And I really like that about it.
Crazy wonderful.
Right. That
Yeah.
works even better.
And I really like that dynamic about it. And then he had Noah as well. who
Yeah,
was like
the best friend.
Right.
Yeah. And even when they had the episode, which was real early on than we expected, where you found out they were paying him to be the friend, yeah, you know how pissed he was at him. And it's like, we're going to end this right now. And he was so mad at him for finding that out.
Yes, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
And-
There were some episodes that were really stand out, and I think what was really terrific about the episodes is even when they went off the deep end, even when they became hilarious, you still had the framework of a story being told that was going to lead
You
to
just
the end of
made
the
it
series.
Right.
They
humongous
never lost sight
Right.
of keeping that thread,
Yeah,
keeping that
true.
thread connecting everything.
True. There was always an end game to the series, and they never just decided to, oh, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to have a different idea. And one of my favorite episodes is, I think it's called Promises, where you got to see the backstory of how...
I'm sorry,
how
I'm
Rex-
laughing because I'm thinking of Passion de l'Amour.
What, that was an episode too? With the soap opera?
That's one of my favorite ones.
Oh my gosh, I love that one too.
That's what
Was-
you got your anime for your
Yeah.
series, like fake series.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That one, the Promises episode, was one of my favorites because you got to see the whole backstory of how Rex ended up with Providence, and then seeing he was actually a fully evolved Evo at one point before they found him, and he had the amnesia, and Six took him in, and all White Knight saw him was as a weapon or something needed to be destroyed, and Six and Hod are like, well, we can still take care of him, we can still use him for good and everything, and they saw him as a person, not as a weapon. And it really came,
Dr. Holiday for sure.
yeah, and seeing how this group came together as this found family was just like really something interesting to see, especially when it got to the end where Knight was just trying to force him to evolve so they could use him at any time, and Six had to stop him. And it was like one of those most engaging episodes, and the entire thing is just a flashback.
And the moral dilemma that was addressed and rectified in a very good way.
Right.
And I think one of the things about that you kept pointing out, and you said, he's wearing the same clothes he had when they found him. The clothes grow with him.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to know, like, everyone can
Maybe
say
the nanites he used the nanites.
right. Yeah, I kind of wonder that a lot of people kept saying, shouldn't those be snug? He hasn't changed clothes since the time they found him.
Maybe Holiday found some spare extra clothes in a store one time. Maybe he just made them fix.
Right.
off the top of your head, Bennett?
Let's see. Definitely the first one. That's always good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I always love the season 1 finale. Payback, I think that's what it was called.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good one.
Let's see. I forgot the name of that time where Rex and his friends went to Cabo Luna. That's where they...
Oh my gosh, that was a great one.
Yes!
That was
Nightfall, that was the name of it.
Yes. Didn't even see that coming.
Yeah.
Clowns, something.
Yeah, real good choices.
This could get interesting.
And that's what you get.
Yeah, basically any episode that had Ben Kleiss as the main villain of that episode, that would always be like my go-to.
Yeah,
There were
definitely.
quite a few of
That
those.
featured Hunter Kane or Gatlock.
Oh, yeah. Gatlock, oh my gosh. I remember him.
I think this series, the comic, was ahead of its time. And so is the series, because when you think about the uniqueness of the main characters, the villains, the ones who pretended they weren't villains like White Knight,
Yeah.
the storyline, as we talked about, the nanites, his design, Rex's design, Caesar and him actually being this brilliant scientist,
Right.
and
Right.
actually them having a happy ending where they get to meet up and join back,
Right.
and he isn't killed off.
Yeah.
So much about this series was unique.
Yes.
And maybe that's why they ended it quickly,
Maybe.
so that it wouldn't be destroyed and taken in a different direction they didn't want
Right,
it to go.
because sometimes we see with these shows, they'll start changing things and it starts being an entirely different show. Or they'll finish the story and then it's like, okay, that's the end. Oh no, we made up something else to bring it back and come back. Oh, this didn't get cured. One didn't get cured. There's still nanites somewhere else. You missed the spot. And it's just like, they'll come up with some weird excuse. Like, they'll probably do something like this reboot here. They would just come up with an excuse to keep it going, and then it would start to lose that charm and that rewatch value.
True. And
Right.
one more thing I like to point out is there was not one bad episode.
True.
Not one bad
True.
episode. Out
Yeah.
of 60,
Even with
every single episode was good.
even with the ones really heavily focused on comedy, like the one with the prank
Passion de
war,
l'amour, de
right?
passion.
And the prank war, and the one where they run a ping pong tournament for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but they did.
What was the name of the episode with that soap
Are
opera?
you a fan of the soap opera?
Yeah.
It's like.
It was just hilarious.
Remember how one of the actors of that soap opera said something like, "No, you insulted my preferring yourself in the third person."
I love it.
Every episode was great. And that just doesn't happen. Even with our favorite series, sometimes we'll find an episode, well, maybe fans didn't like it so much, like with Avatar,
Yeah.
The Great Divide.
Right.
And so, but with this one, there's not one episode that you look at and go, they shouldn't have done that, or it could have been better, or there's
Right.
not one.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
And the
not
whole-
that I recall, really.
Yeah, the whole thing was solid the entire time. All 3 seasons were great, and it just kind of kept getting better as it went on. And the end was majority satisfying,
Yes.
really. It did have, like you
Yeah.
said, a happy ending. He did save the world. He still kept his found family. No one he cared about was all wiped out. It wasn't something really, really tragic. It was just that, and he still was a hero. He still had the nannies in himself, and he could still save the world with that from other non-evil related villains.
Yes. So quickly, let's give a shout out to some of the voice actors who appeared in here. Besides Daryl Sabara, John DiMaggio, Grey DeLisle, J.K. Simmons, Fred Savage, and Troy Baker.
Mm-hmm.
You had a ton of VA stars that are stars to us that appeared. There are so many that I can't even go through this list. Everybody who was anybody in VA
Yeah.
acting appeared in this series, including Greg Sipes,
Yeah.
Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Or Mark Hamill.
Sokka, Jack DeSena.
Yeah. Tom Kenny.
Yes, it was just a cavalcade of VA stars, and the roles that they portrayed, everyone did a great job.
Yeah.
I can't sit and think
Absolutely.
of one character that ever appeared in here and you go, this character shouldn't have been here, or they didn't fit, or it didn't work.
Yeah.
Everything worked about this series, and it is actually a unicorn.
Yes.
A cartoon unicorn.
Yeah, great way to put it. So, yeah, this is, I think, a series that really deserves to still be remembered or looked back on, not just alongside Ben 10, which is still a good thing, but it could really stand on its own as a series. It didn't have to rely on other works to be a good show. It was a good show in general, and then it was just added to it when they had the Heroes United crossover. You just got the best of both worlds in one.
Which we need to mention. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was going to say, we need to talk just a little bit about that Heroes United, which was definitely an event.
Yes.
And again, something ahead of its time that really set the stage for Cartoon Network having more movies.
Yes. And having these specials and things, usually when Cartoon Network had movies, majority of the time they were for the end of the series. So people were kind of concerned at first, like, oh, is this the end? No, it was just a special. Okay, good. But even with that, it still stood out as one of their best projects, one of their best specials ever. Because
absolutely,
both shows were popular, both at the height of their popularity, still airing at the same time. So it was a brilliant move to have them both meet. And it doesn't even go the usual trope route where, oh, they don't get along, they have to learn to work together, and blah, blah, blah. They fight because one doesn't know the other, and they think they fought. One fought aliens, one fought monsters. Of course they think each other is the threat.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Man, some of Ben's aliens do look like they could be Evos, especially Wrath or Humongousaur.
Right, so it makes sense why they were fighting in the beginning, and then they learned to get along, and then it either led up to them combining, like it was Venom, like the original Venom,
that was
with turning the Mechamorph. Yes.
The only thing that could have been better about this movie is it be longer. It was only 43 minutes.
Why?
That was disappointing. It should have been longer.
Yes.
And it actually premiered at the New York Comic Con that year.
Oh,
and it was universally acclaimed by fans, and it hit the top 100 on iTunes. Again, first thing I ever bought on iTunes.
Cool.
So this is just one of the best movies Cartoon Network ever put out. Man of Action wrote the script. They should have let them write more.
Yeah.
For something, especially that I don't treat it as canon movie that came out. Mm-hmm. But they should have let them show more.
To at least go to Ben's universe at least once, and maybe meet Kevin and Glenn.
Yes, that's what
we all were waiting for.
In a comic, but that's about it.
That's what we all were waiting for.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, not whatever you gave in that reboot, not a starting all over. Right. The most I've heard is that they had a comic where he went to Ben's world, but they never adapted into an animated movie. Even if both shows or franchises were done, you still could have had that as like a Netflix or a Max special or something, as sort of like an anniversary or a comeback for fans who loved both of these shows for so long. You make them a special as part of a celebration of both. That would have been good too.
Mm-hmm. Double feature. First you show Heroes United again, then you show the second movie with the reverse. That would have been great. We would have sat there and watched for a full hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yes.
And wanting more. It would have been fantastic, but it looks like we're never going to get that. And that's just so unfortunate.
So, time to go find the comic then.
So we all agree this is one of the best series ever on Cartoon Network. It was ahead of its time. One of the best series we've ever seen. A credit to Western Animation back when we were making really great things.
And great superhero shows.
And the world copied and wanted to, have shows that were like Western Animation right now. So I'm grateful for Generator Rex. I'm grateful for our Nana. Watch it.
Yes.
I'm grateful I bought the first episodes, and I will not ever open the case unless they put it out on DVD.
Right, it'll be a collectible.
It's a collectible. And I'm grateful that Benny joined us for this
Yes,
podcast.
great to have you again.
So much. So if you guys have seen Generator Rex, the series, let us know in the comments. What did you think? Do you miss having more episodes? Is it something that's a great part of your Western animation experience? Let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, you're out of luck. You can't buy it. It's not streaming.
No.
It's just a loss for you.
It's like, oh
You
no,
might be
we're
able to
moving
find
it.
Heroes United
Or
still
you
on
can watch it
iTunes.
on one of those watch cartoon sites.
Yeah, that's what we do now.
I don't know what you're talking about. You might be able to find the movie on iTunes. That's about it. And if you can't watch this series, it really is a loss
Yeah.
for people who never watched it.
Yeah.
And we're just grateful to Man of Action and grateful for the original comic book writer and just grateful for this series. It's definitely full of fond memories.
Yes. So thanks again, Bennett, for joining us. This was absolutely fun.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
And if you guys haven't already, subscribe for updates and movie videos for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And be sure to visit Bennett Datley's channel.
Yes!
Lots of awesome content.
Yes! That's a great content!
Yes.
Every time you go there, it's great content.
And I can see from some of the premiere notices there's going to be great content for Superhero Month.
Yes!
So be sure to check him out. And last but not least, thank you so much for joining us as always, for sharing our videos, for subscribing. We appreciate you so much. As always, you are a special.
So, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'm Rascal Entertainments.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
I'm Bennett Dudley.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
Peace.